Lewis Hamilton won a simply astonishing Russian Grand Prix after long-time race leader Lando Norris suffered late heartbreak by spinning his McLaren off in heavy rain, with Max Verstappen benefiting to complete his comeback from the back of the grid to an unlikely second. Following a dramatic and soaking wet finale, Hamilton took both the championship lead and his 100th F1 win, but the Sochi race was destined for his young British compatriot, who was so close to his very first triumph. Pole sitter Norris was heading towards the maiden F1 win after re-overtaking Carlos Sainz and then leading the majority of the race, even keeping his cool as Hamilton came charging through in the Mercedes after a difficult start of his own. But as the rain started falling with just 8 laps to go, then getting increasingly heavier, Norris opted to stay on his slick tyres while Hamilton and the majority of the field changed sprinters. The decision turned out to be a catastrophe as he could not keep control of his McLaren, spinning off into the barriers on lap 51 and 53. Hamilton, who also wanted to stay up before being overruled by Mercedes, was then there to capitalise. "I'm unhappy, devastated in a way," said a tearful Norris after the race. "It was my decision. I thought it was the way to go. Lando did such an amazing job. He had such incredible pace," said Hamilton, who recovered after dropping from 4th to 7th on the first lap. "It would have been tough to get past Lando unless we came up to some traffic or he made a mistake, so the rain came and it was very opportunistic." Hamilton claimed victory, although Verstappen was arguably the biggest winner of the day, as the Dutchman, who was running 7th before the rain as his early change came through the field from the back, faded and changed tyres earlier than many others and finished second. The end result means that Verstappen has lost the title lead, which Red Bull expected with their engine penalty, but Hamilton is still only 2 points clear in the standings. Sainz completed the podium, finishing ahead of Daniel Ricciardo, Valtteri Bottas and another driver to benefit from the rain, Fernando Alonso. Norris was 7th, although there may be further blow coming his way, with rumours he may receive a penalty for crossing the white line on the pit lane exit. As of the time recording, no decision has been made. The closing stages of the Russian Grand Prix were exciting, unpredictable, but also agonising for Norris. The British driver, after becoming Britain's youngest ever pole sitter, was set to become Britain's youngest ever race winner as he dominated the race, recovering from losing his lead at the first corner. Norris superbly chased down Sainz and then pounced on his former teammate before stretching a big lead. He was 12 seconds clear of teammate Ricciardo and Hamilton at the halfway stage. A slow stop from Ricciardo released Hamilton into clear air, but Norris, while understandably slower than Hamilton, with Mercedes by far across the field, remained composed, and the 7-time champion couldn't stay in DRS range of his young rival as he headed into the final 10 laps. And then came the rain and the decision that Norris and McLaren were left to rue. McLaren asked Norris if they wanted to pit, and Lando consistently gave a resounding no. That wasn't an outlandish answer on lap 48, with the rain still light and most drivers sticking to the track, but a lap after, Hamilton was called in to his dismay as Mercedes told their driver that more rain was coming. McLaren kept Norris out. A torrential downpour did indeed land, making it impossible for those who stayed out to keep their cars on the track. Hamilton closed Norris down before he couldn't stop his McLaren into the first corner and slowly nudged the barriers. Then it was finally forced to limp round, but his hopes were then well and truly over. "It was the wrong one at the end of the day, but I made the decision as much as the team," said Norris, although McLaren took responsibility after failing to make it back-to-back wins this season. "We didn't get it together as a team in hindsight, and it was the wrong decision to stay out," admitted team boss Andreas Seidel. "There is always a chance to overrule him from the pit wall side. We wanted to go for the win. That's why we decided together to stay out, and it just didn't work." Hamilton and Verstappen also had rollercoaster arsenals, but quite incredibly ended up sharing the top 2 positions. From Hamilton's side, he had a bit of a nightmare from the start, starting 4th, a grid position enforced after his 2 crashes in qualifying, dropping behind Ricciardo, Lance Stroll and Fernando Alonso. He cleared Alonso before Stroll's pit stop, but was then stuck behind Ricciardo as Norris extended his lead. Fortunate came for Hamilton's way after Ricciardo's slow stop allowed him to run longer and still emerge on track ahead of the McLaren after pitting. He was then free to chase down Norris and was around a second per lap faster than the McLaren, but couldn't get past the car that was quick on the straights. The rain offered him solace, with Hamilton admitting that he didn't think he would have passed Norris without it. He praised Mercedes for their pit stop decision, particularly as he, like Norris, didn't want to come in. His record-extending 100th win was certainly one of his most dramatic. Verstappen, meanwhile, was only aiming for a top 5 finish, but ended up second. He made a flying start to the race, making ground from 20th and also overtaking Bottas, but became bogged down behind during his second seat, even being overtaken by Fernando Alonso. Unlike Hamilton, Verstappen made the decision himself to pit for intermediates, and what a call that was. To come for the last two with 2 penalties to second, that's mega damage limitation, said Hamilton. The season now rolls on to the Turkish Grand Prix on October 8th, the first of 7 races to close 2021, with just 2 points separating the title protagonists. This is going to be some end to the 2021 F1 season. And before I go, here is the final classification for the race. Hamilton with a win. What can you say? Mercedes just had to win today, and they got it right. Fourth place to win, 53 seconds, an incredible winning margin from Verstappen in second. That once again, I think it'll feel like wins for both Hamilton and Verstappen. That was just an incredible recovery drive. You could say the same about Sainz as well. Really, really solid drive from him. Kind of went low-key as per with Sainz. Ricciardo in 4th, which is a good result for him. Obviously a bit fortunate. And then Bottas in 5th. Obviously got very fortunate today. Alonso in 6th. He was just solid the whole race. Unlike Bottas, who dropped all the way down, was nowhere and strategy got him back up. So Bottas is fortunate today. Alonso, you can say it wasn't. Norris, I think we've talked about him enough already. Just heartbreaking. Raikkonen in 8th. That's a really, really solid result for him. The Iceman, he seems to recover from COVID quickly. And then you've got Perez, so unfortunate. Obviously had that slow stop. He could have easily been in contention with Norris and Hamilton today. Russell in 10th. Kind of a downward spiral for him. Not a great day for him. Then you've got Stroll and Vettel. The Aston Martins even having scraps on track again. This was the sort of race where Aston Martin could have really benefited, but they didn't. Gasly, Ocon, Leclerc, I think will be disappointed. Pretty much everywhere down from that. All of those were drivers, this seems seen as an opportunity for them to really make positions up, and they just failed to do so, which is disappointing for them, really. Hey guys, that's it for the video. Thanks very much for watching. So like, share, subscribe, leave your thoughts, comments down below, and follow me on Twitter, link in the description below for daily F1 news, and subscribe to the channel on the screen right now, that'd be greatly appreciated. Thanks very much for watching. Peace!